Welcome to the Selectmen meeting, Town of Raymond, for June 19th, 2023. Want to welcome our newest Selectman, Derek Ray. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Don, nice to have you back from all your surgeries. Nice to have you there and, you know,
It's good to be back.
rolling around. You're doing well.
Rolling around, yep.
All right. All right, minutes of previous meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
You can't, Derek.
Derek, you
Oh.
can't vote yet.
Nope, that's
All
okay.
right, fine.
You weren't here.
Yeah.
All right. That's okay.
Sorry, Derek.
Okay, election of officers.
Motion to nominate Joe as chair?
Second.
Motion to close nominations?
Second.
All in favor? All in favor of me as chair again, if you could put up with it?
Can I
Double
vote on
hands.
that?
You can
Oh,
vote
all
on
right.
it.
Yes,
All
there you
right.
go, sorry.
Thanks.
That first one was the only one of leftover business. Everything
Yeah,
else tonight
everything
you
else
can
you
vote
can,
on.
you can vote on.
All right, sounds good.
I'll nominate Rolf Olson as vice chair.
Second?
Move nomination cease.
Second?
All in favor of nomination ceasing? All in favor of Rolf Olson as vice chair? Unanimous.
I nominate Rolf Olson as parliamentarian.
Second.
Any questions?
Move nomination cease. That's a second,
Second?
right?
Yep.
All in favor of nomination ceasing? All in favor of Ralph Olson as parliamentarian? Unanimous. Great. Executive session.
Okay.
So, I think the easiest thing is to ask everybody who's not involved in the executive session to leave. And then we'll call you back in when we come back out.
6E?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous. All those in favor? Unanimous. We're gonna go right into a public hearing now. Proposed consent agreement for 402 Webb's Mills Road. We had a meeting with our attorney and our code enforcement officer. Alex, if you want to just give us a summary before we go into as part of the public hearing, just so people know what's going on.
Yes, so we have a proposed consent agreement for a land use violation that's occurred in town. And at this point, the property owner is in a position to correct the violation. They're willing to comply with the town's requests. Originally, as you can see in the draft consent agreement, if you've read it, there was a plan for them to go to the planning board and get site plan approval after the fact for this violation. They've since decided that they're going to shut down the business that's been operating on this parcel and move the operation out of town. That does still leave us with one other violation, which was specific to the clearing and removal of vegetation. So at this point, the select board is still preparing to enter into consent agreement for resolution of the clearing violation, which would likely be, at this point, revegetation. And there's also still the discussion of a fine for the violation.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else want to speak in the public hearing? Anyone who's zooming in?
I see no hands raised.
Okay. Seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the consent agreement?
I'll move to accept the consent agreement, subject to final amendment by the town manager.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? We'll close the public hearing. All right, part of our agenda is scholarship applications. We're moving those to the end of the meeting. All right. Took care of 6A. All right, consideration of appointment to RSU 14 due to our resignation. I think we have 3 applicants, if I remember.
Yes. And Kate Levely resigned just after I had sent the ballots to print. So it was too late then to add it to the agenda, the election.
Yep. So,
Resigned?
Kate Levely.
Kate.
Okay, Levy.
Yeah.
Oh, Levier, I'm sorry.
No, I knew that. I thought you said, all right, sorry.
I pronounced the way she did
Yep.
incorrectly.
All right.
I don't know what matter.
All right, so 3 applicants, and why don't we start with Lisa Duncanson? Lisa, if you want to step up to the mic. We have your application in front of us, if you want to just give us a little more background.
I'm Lisa Duncanson, and I have been living in Raymond since I was in 4th grade. So I have attended Raymond schools myself. My daughters were raised in Raymond and went to the Raymond schools, and also went to the Wyndham schools. I kind of don't like what's been happening in the schools, and I'd like to be an advocate for our kids in Raymond. There used to be, back when I was younger and then my kids were younger, Raymond was coveted for its education system, and people wanted to move here just to go to Raymond schools. I think we've lost a lot of that joining Wyndham. I was never an advocate for joining Wyndham, but since we're there and we have to be there together, I want to be the voice for Raymond, to bring back respect that we used to have for our Raymond kids and our town as a whole, because that used to be the whole goal of Raymond schools. Respect for yourself, respect for others, respect for the schools, respect for your town. So, but that's where I'm at. At this point, I have 5 grandchildren in the school systems. So, I'm on the other end of things.
Any questions for Lisa?
I do.
Yep.
Hi, I've been on boards with Lisa, and so I've got some background with her. I feel that, and I'm going to ask all the same question on this one, is it's hard. It's hard being on that board. I haven't been on it. I just know I've been up against it a couple of times. And so I guess what is your plan to be able to get communication through and make it so where, I guess, board members are heard more instead of such a regimented schedule?
So I think communication is key. I mean, it shouldn't be me against you. It should be, what do we have to do together to get what's right for the kids and what's right for the school system. So I've been an entrepreneur for a lot of years. I own a bunch of businesses, a lot of different backgrounds, from construction to design to bunch of, tax and accounting. So I've had the opportunity to meet people where they are, not, this is my category over here, I'm just a tax accountant, I don't talk to people over there in construction. I can be on a construction site and talk to guys, or I can be at a convent and talk to the nuns. So I can go both ways, and I would hope that I could be able to, with communication, have people see our side of things and come to an agreement that meets in the middle instead of this side and this side.
Are you aware this is an appointment that will last until
November.
Next,
No.
Next election.
2024.
I am.
next municipal election, which is June of next year?
I am aware.
Okay. And do you see yourself running again? Or is this just a 1 year, let me try it and see what I think?
So for
Get the pen out to get the blood. Clock ready.
we'll see. I mean, it was never my intention to step in and step up like this. I've always done things in the background. I'm more of just a roll up the sleeve type person and just get things done. But there was a need, so I'm stepping in to fill that need.
Okay. Other questions? Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
We know you're there, Lisa. We know you're there. All right. Next person. Was it Macon? Is
Macon
Macon
here?
here?
I don't know what Macon looks like. So. She's not on the call. On the Zoom, I mean.
Well, it makes it hard to appoint someone you don't know.
Okay.
And Mike McClellan.
Good evening. I'm Mike McClellan, and I live up on Pismar Mountain Road in Raymond. I've lived there, gosh, since 2000. But before that, I lived in Raymond since I think '86. We moved here '87. I am a policy director, so I was a state rep, and I'm a policy director now. So I'm very involved in the stuff going on in Augusta, even today. And my wife, Michelle, is a lifelong educator. She's currently an assistant superintendent with the Cape Elizabeth school system. I have two amazing kids, Maggie and Pat. And breaking news, I'm a grandparent now. I have two grandchildren. I had none last year. I have two this year. So I would say right off the bat that just having, and coming from New York, I share that with Mr. Bruno. Although we root for different baseball teams. It's been a blessing to live in this community. We lived in Portland for a year, then we came to Raymond. It was kind of a funky how we found this place, but we did, and the education our kids got was amazing. It helped them as they went into college and had very successful careers, and now we're both great citizens, married, have children, and are contributing in the ways they should be. I've always believed in service, and as I look at you guys kind of write the book on service. In the 90s, I think, I was on the school committee here for 2 terms. Then I graduated to the SelectBoard, and then I had about 10 years off, although I was coaching and doing those kind of things. And then someone had the idea you should run for the state house. Really bad idea, but I did. I won. I was up there during the LePage years for 3 terms, which is 6 years. In the midst, I was thinking about this tonight. In the midst of that, I also volunteered in the school with my kids until they asked me not to anymore. And I've been on almost, they actually did. And it was actually funny, 6th grade, both of them in 6th grade said, Dad, you don't need to come anymore. Okay. I think I've been almost every committee except for the planning budget committee. But I've been on recycling, I've coached, did this and that. I love public service, and again, I'm just grateful that this community gave so much to my family that I want to give back. Elephant in the room is I was here about 1.5 years, 2 years ago doing the same thing, and you appointed me. And it was a rough go. It was an interesting experience. In the 1990s, the school board ran the school district, and the staffers, the superintendent down, we instructed them with, using their skills and knowledge, of course. And it seems to have turned around a little bit. It seems like it's the other way around now. So it was personally kind of a frustrating experience. I may have actually said to you, Joe, that I was going to run again, and I didn't. And when I completed that, almost immediately, I was kind of half like, boy, that was really good to get out of there. And the other half was like, I'm not a quitter, and I probably could help. I served with Kate, served with Char. I didn't know Kate had resigned until I had multiple people in Raymond call me and say Kate was being done and asked if I would consider running again. And I had seriously, a very, very serious talk with my wife because of a couple years ago. And she endorsed me doing this. Just got to meet Lisa outside, and I think, at least between the two of us, I think you have 2 good candidates. So,
Mike, is your heart in this?
I think it is more. I'll be honest with you, and I'll be kind of honest with you, Joe. I think I was a little taken back. You go to public, the public come to the meeting, and you can't respond to them. I wasn't expecting that. Asked to put things on the agenda, and it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen. And I think one of you asked about how to interact better. And I wanted to hear more about the diversity team. And I asked, and I asked, and I asked. And it was only at the time a couple of other people started saying, hey, wait a minute, Mike keeps asking, and you guys don't do it. So I think some of the answer is actually finding common ground with people. And I think I work in Augusta right now. As you all know, it's a mess up there. There's this and there's this. And one of my greatest learnings, and I think it's applicable to the school system, there's also the middle. There's people thinking this and there's people thinking this. But then you got, in Augusta, people that are, maybe suffering in schools. You got kids and families who want to learn. And so the people that called me suggested to me, and I asked my wife, again, I ran it by my wife, that I could be a peacemaker. I could be someone that could help bridge. I've actually testified this year a couple times on our school has been in the news up in Augusta. There have been hearings, scuttlebutt in the street or in the hallways. And I've testified, and what I've said to people is, yeah, there are a lot of parents that are not happy, and there are staffers and school board members who I respect, and I just think there's a disconnect there. I don't know what it is. I really truly believe both sides want what's best for our kids and our parents and the system and et cetera. But there's some kind of a really big disconnect. And I've thought a lot, to your question, I've thought a lot about, okay, what would you do different? And I've been talking, because I have the ability to talk to people in Augusta that know about school law and things like that, and I've tried to educate myself more so that next time someone tells me no, I can say, well, wait a minute, we can do it this way. So to answer your question, yeah, I think I'm pretty prepared for this.
Any other questions, Mike? Okay.
I
Thank you, Mike.
believe Megan may be on Zoom now.
Oh. All right.
Megan, are you there on Zoom?
Megan?
She has to
I asked her to unmute. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
No, this is her husband. She's at the airport dropping our daughter off to go to Spain, so she wasn't able to make it.
okay.
Thanks for letting us know.
Not a problem.
All right. Anybody else? Any comments on the candidates? Sure.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Shar Jewell. I'm a lifelong resident of Raymond. I'm also a member of the RSU 14 board. I'm speaking tonight as a Raymond resident and the parent of a student. Over the last several months, public participation in school board meetings has increased, but we're not seeing enough voices from Raymond. Children today face a huge flood of educational and social information from a very young age. Are they equipped to handle the information they come across? How much damage can information children are not ready for due to their development? What are the long-term effects to individuals and communities where children are exposed to information they are not prepared to handle? We see it every day. Children with anxiety, depression, ADHD, general behavior problems, the numbers are growing. Every year we hear statistics that our children are becoming less stable in their mental health. This makes me ask the question, what are we doing to cause this? Each of us needs to look at ourselves, those around us, and our institutions to find the root cause to help all children grow into healthy adults who can have a solid place in our communities. We need invested community members to come forward to lend their voice and work to support our children and our community. The question to us adults is, what are we prepared to do about it? I'm speaking today to ask Raymond residents to start investing their time into the future of our community, our children. Without the investment of time in our future, it is lost. One such person who has come forward to support our community and the children in it is Lisa Duncanson. Lisa is a longtime resident of Raymond. She went to Raymond schools as well as her children and grandchildren. I've met with Lisa, who contacted me out of concern to discuss the various issues facing our RSU 14 administration, staff, parents, and students. Lisa brings with her the history of our community with the balance of being a parent, grandparent, and business owner. Her approach to our conversations has been well thought out, detailed, and comprehensive of the various perspectives of our communities. Lisa has the time and dedication to be a valuable asset to the RSU 14 board. I urge you to vote for Lisa to fill this open seat. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment on the candidates? Is that person calling in Megan?
I don't know. I was trying to see if I could chat with them, but I can't. I've asked them to unmute. May I ask if you are Megan on the phone?
Okay. All right. Anybody want to make a nomination?
Move Mike McClellan for the position.
Okay. Do I have a second? Been seconded, moved and seconded.
They're
Any dis-
unmuted. I don't know if that matters.
Oh,
May I ask who's on the telephone on the Zoom call?
Gone.
I guess I can't.
okay. Any further discussion?
I
Yep.
I honestly think either one of them would do a good job. I really do. I am so on the fence with both of them because I know Mike can get in and do it, but I've done boards with Lisa before, and I don't think I've seen you lose your temper, so I can't. No, and so I know, and I know she gets things done. So my worry is getting somebody in there that can do it. And so either one to me it's going to be tough.
We do have two really good candidates.
Yeah, I wish we could seriously
wish
put
we
both you
could've
guys on the
spoken
board.
to Megan also, because I don't really know her.
No,
But
How many seats open next year? One or two?
I think it's one.
No, there will be two.
Yeah, it'll be two.
this one
Yeah, this
and
one and
Yeah.
Jody or you?
Jody's.
Jody's.
didn't Jody just run, or she?
No, Jody just ran.
one here.
Okay.
One here, one.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's a 3-year. Jody had a 3-year.
Oh, did you?
Yes, it's gotten back in the right rotation, so I'm not sure who's up next year. I've lost track.
Kate would
I'll
have
have to
been up.
look.
so-
Yeah, Kate, this,
so thi-
this,
so this-
Yeah, so-
this-
This one runs
So
out
this,
anyway.
so there may just be one next year if this is the one that was up.
and that's a June vote?
Yes.
November, I think.
Oh, it's November, so
no,
it's only
it's
June.
June.
Oh, but it's June? Okay.
Yes, it's the annual town meeting, which
Right.
is generally the second Tuesday in June.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second from Mike McClellan. All those in favor? Unanimous, Mike? Lisa, do not be discouraged.
I'm not discouraged.
Yeah,
I think either one of you
think about
guys.
the
Yeah.
future and, we need good people on the school committee because it's out of control.
Yeah.
I just want to ask Teresa, have I ever gotten angry in public?
No.
Yeah, when your Mets lose.
No, Mike, I haven't seen you mad.
I want to get that on the record. Okay.
The biggest thing is having to be able to push without pushing too far, knowing that you're making headway in some way. Yeah, Shar knows too,
I mean,
and you know.
use your experience, Mike. You've been there, you've done it. Try it, yeah.
Yeah.
I really, from my perspective, the school budget's one of the most important things that needs to have a little curbing to it.
Yeah,
Just
I agree.
It's out of control.
I agree.
I-
And a real quick story, a few years ago when I was still a state rep, I went to the budget meeting in Wyndham where they have it at the high school, and there were 25 people there. And what is it, Wyndham's over 20,000, Raymond's 45, right? So 25,000 people, there were 25 people there.
Yeah.
And I sat there thinking, you could call 5 friends and you could hijack that meeting. I think they get better attendance now than that, but I will say, in the time I was there, Char, just so you know, after I was appointed, the next week, I think, right? You were appointed because somebody else left. And now Jody, who took the spot I had, and I've talked with her quite a bit, I think there's a good presence, and I think that board is starting to get some saner people on it, and not that other people aren't sane, but I mean, I just think people that will represent us well.
Okay.
We're seeing people ask questions. We're seeing people investigate as far as like your research, not investigate, research, that type of thing instead of just going like this.
Well, we appreciate you stepping up.
Sure.
And
Lisa, you
good
too.
luck to you. And
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you for applying.
Thank you
Really
guys, too.
appreciate it. All right. Consideration of peddler's license application, B&B Fat Guys. There anyone
She is here.
on
You guys
Zoom?
took my name off this?
Oh, there you are.
Hold on.
Did you bring any samples?
Yes.
No, I did not.
Oh, jeez.
You'll just have to wait.
All right,
Yeah, that
So-
menu looks really good.
tell
You
us
remember
about
the name.
yourself.
Well, my name's Billy Joe Smith. I live in Lewiston. I've worked with B&B, well, it was just Fat Guys Concessions before I purchased it. I worked for them for 6 years, and after 6 years, the owner needed to retire due to health issues and stuff, so I purchased it. I've owned it for almost 4 years now myself. I travel the fair circuit. I've done benefits. I've done birthday parties, graduation parties, you name it, I've done it. We give out a good product. As you have seen the menu probably.
Yes.
Made me hungry.
Yes.
Our sausage is made out of Mayotte's out of Lewiston, so it's a local company that makes it, but it's our recipe, so we have them put our own seasonings in it and stuff, so it does make it different from everybody else's.
So why Raymond?
Well, Sebago Outfitters wanted someone to pair up with, and I thought, what a great opportunity. It's definitely a good location, a lot of traffic, and you get a lot of tourists, but you also have the locals, like I'm all about the local people. I have family that lives in Raymond. I think it's definitely a good place to put on the map, like we have a following already, so I think definitely it would just bring more opportunity to Raymond, something different, something, just another company to help, bring in people.
Something new.
What hours are you thinking?
I was thinking more or less like maybe 10 to like 6 or so, 6 or 7, 6 maybe. Probably like 10 to 6. So that way you're getting like the afternoon and then maybe some dinner.
Well, there's Tesla's up right around the corner too, which would be cool. Get lunch. Yeah.
Alex, any concerns on parking, egress, or?
No, I don't really have any concerns on parking or egress. There was a few things. Code officer is supposed to look through the application before it comes to you guys. I did find a few little things. We just need a signed copy of the lease agreement. And
Which I do have now.
good, a certificate of insurance naming the town of Raymond as an additional insured. And that's pretty much it.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Wayne.
Leah?
Wayne does, because it's a mobile unit, does the fire department have any, where's your oversight on that?
Unmute.
Were you asking me?
Oversight on mobile units.
So, in accordance with our ordinance, adopted code, we do have oversight with commercial cooking, including mobile vending. So what we have done with the applicant is scheduled an inspection for Friday.
Okay. Leah, you have any concerns or
No,
encouragement?
this is what I'm pushing for this, obviously. I'm really trying. Oh, sure, yeah.
They can hear you at home that way.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you guys know I've done a huge transformation to try to really put a good effort into my business and to help it grow and to help the community. And I'm really trying to put Raymond on the map, honestly. With having the live bait there now as well, having, a lot more to offer for the tourists that come into town, but also to offer for the locals. I've had a lot of people approach me that live here. I live here. that, you know, all the blue collar workers, they want something that's quick and easy. And if she's going to be there on Mondays and Tuesdays when there's no other place in Raymond to stop, I want to give Raymond that business. So pretty much, yeah, that's it. I'm just pushing for this for that reason.
Is the truck staying there? You bringing it back? Does it have a spot?
Due to the power situation, I'd have to run off generator. I would have to bring the booth back and forth, just because I have refrigeration. I can't let my food go bad. You know, I need to make sure that my food's at temp at all times and stuff. I'm definitely, you know, cautious about all that stuff. So it would have to go back and forth unless there was like permanent electricity or something like that.
Good thing is she's not fighting for a spot. Yeah.
How do you know Hal Kopp and Scott Doyle? 'Cause I know those guys.
Huh?
I know both of them.
Oh, okay. So Hal Kopp actually let me rent a space in Cumberland off from
on
him.
the corner there?
Yeah, like up near Caddy's Ice Cream.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when the pandemic hit, yeah, the fairs were out of, you know, they were out of commission. So I had to think of what to do. I had payments to make on the booths. You know, I didn't buy it outright. I have payments to make and stuff. So I reached out to Howell and found out that he had the land, nothing being done to it. So I asked him if I could rent it off from him. And we came up upon agreement that I would rent it off him, you know, weekly. And he let me stay there for the whole season pretty much. And I made good with him, and, you know, he was pretty impressed. So, and Scott Doyle, well, Scott Doyle, I grew up with Scott.
Did you really?
Yes, we went to school together. He's known my kids ever since they were born and everything. He's been in the family, you know, like.
Is he still with Captain Eli's shipyard thing?
He is not. He is now selling insurance for automobiles.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, can I make a motion?
Yep.
A motion to approve B&B Fat Guys
Peddler license.
Concessions.
concessions, peddlers, their peddler license. I can't talk tonight.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Can't wait to eat one of your
I
sausage
know.
subs.
Yes. Absolutely.
Mr. Chair, Megan is on the call now on Zoom.
Who is?
Megan is,
You've already done
Too
it.
late.
yeah.
We've already made our decision. Just let her know.
Yeah. Megan, the vote for the appointment has already occurred.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thanks.
All right.
Vacancy, we did that one. The peddler's license.
IFS in Maine. Tony Joe Coppa.
Let's see.
There's no one on the call.
All right.
And neither of these gentlemen look like Tony Joe.
No.
No. Wayne, we got your inspection report on this. It looked good, right? Everything pretty much passed?
Yep, everything everything's been corrected as of May 23rd, so we're in good shape.
Okay. Tony Joe's not here, so
Do we hold it or do we?
no.
Okay.
I need a motion.
Motion to approve the application license of IFS in Maine.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous? All right. Sharice.
Make sure you write chair on yours.
You also have your auditor.
So
Yeah, we have Ron Smith on Zoom.
we do. We have Mr. Ron Smith on Zoom. I have handouts of his PDF if you'd like it, if you want to follow along. You're all set with that.
We're good.
Ron, I don't know, are you planning to share your screen at all, or?
What I was just going to do, Sharice, is just hit the highlights of the audit, and, what we did is we pulled it out in that presentation. I know it like the back of my hand, so I'm just going to hit the highlights of that presentation and answer any questions that they have.
There you go. All right.
Sounds good.
So we're talking about the June 30, 2022 audit, you all, for the town. And to sum it up, really hitting the highlights, of it is you got our highest opinion, which is an unmodified opinion. If we would have found any major issues, certainly with the town, we've got that noted in our audit report and issue a separate report on that. We had a couple of best practice matter issues we'll talk about at the end, but really nothing of significance which warranted the unmodified opinion. To hit the financial highlights of 2022, in your general fund, you guys, the everyday operations of the town, you guys landed almost exactly where you were and where you ended 6/30/21. You ended at about almost $2.6 million. Last year, you ended at about $2.6 million too. And of which your unassigned fund balance was a little north of about $2 million. And where do we want to see that? We want to see that at 30, 60 to 90 days of your operating budget. And that in Raymond terms, based on a $17 million-ish budget, would be somewhere around 1.2, 2.4, 3.6. So you're right at about 60 days, you all, which is where you were last year. And you used, actually, of that 2.6, you guys used about $200,000, to mitigate and use for tax relief of the budget that's about to end here at the end of the month. And there was some other carry forward. So yeah, all in all, you're right where you were last year at this time, and at about 60 days, which is certainly, I would call it in this day and age, average for a municipality. But I would put Raymond a little bit above average because of your debt portfolio. You have very little debt in the town. And matter of fact, what you have for a current debt portfolio, unless you go out and get more, is all going to expire, I believe, at the end in 3 years, 2 more years after this fiscal year. So I'd put your general fund, financial condition at about above average. And then I think that, because of your foresight and, willing to put money, you guys have $800,000 in addition to that 2.6 million in other special funds. You have in your special revenue funds about $860,000, which is largely tied up into ARPA funds, largely tied up into, I believe, a reval in your TIF. And that makes up predominantly the over $800,000 sitting in there. And then in capital projects, you have another $800,000 sitting in there for a variety of capital projects. And that's why I say, I think, with that foresight, that really kind of, gives you some maneuverability and flexibility with your general fund balance and having some money set aside in various capital projects and some ARPA funds at your discretion, set aside for down the road, for any projects that may come, for the town that you certainly, would decide to say, okay, that's a good use to use our, and I believe it's close to 300,000 at 2022. I believe you used some money this year, but in 2022, that number was about 300,000, you all. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the financial highlights, of the, of the town audit for June 30, 22. There were some best practice, matters that we talked about with Sharice. She was new to the game for this year. We were new to the game, so we had to bring ourselves up to speed. Certainly there were some things with general ledger, chart of accounts that we had talked to her on, just better practice and some things that, that she inherited that we had cleaned up and will continue, to clean up through this audit in FY20 and FY23. And then there was another, matter on, just budget, just the way that the budget was posted, which kind of ties into, really kind of how you're using your Trio software and, really what, with, just really the way that that's being handled and, Sharice kind of inheriting that and kind of putting her own stamp on it, in Raymond terms, for that. So really nothing of, nothing of significance there. I believe that your general government budget was over budget last year for FY22, but you had enough money certainly within your other budgeted categories to cover that. I don't have, Sharice, do you have the for lack of a better word, the details of the over budget in general government? And I'm assuming that they're aware of that.
Legal expense.
At the podium, please.
I think the bulk of that was legal expense, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe you're 100% right. Without even getting into the details of that, I'm sure it was, legal, for sure, which drove that over budget. I think there might have been a few other lines, but I think legal was probably the iron share of that. So.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Any questions?
That's about all I got for the town of Raymond. We're knee deep in 23 right now. We're looking forward to talking to you all soon.
We'll talk to you next month, right? You have it all done, right?
I won't be next month, but I'll be probably this fall.
I'm only kidding. Only kidding.
I'd like to say we're glad you selected our town. I understand you've passed on some other towns, so we appreciate that.
We've passed on a lot of them, and we probably do over half the municipalities in the state of Maine. And certainly, like I say, and I had some health issues last year, and we've passed on a lot. We've actually brought in 17 new people in the past, 5 months to add some capacity. But we want to show our commitment to our existing clientele and really kind of be able to work with Sharice and other, municipal finance people, out there to really help the need. There's been a lot of turnover out there in the world of government, and a lot less auditors to kind of accommodate the needs. So we made a pretty huge investment this past 2 years, and we're glad that we've added Raymond to our client listing and look forward to a continued relationship.
Where are you based out of?
Buxton, Maine. I'm actually just hopped off a plane 2 days ago. 2 days ago, my sister's not well, getting back from South Carolina, so I appreciate you guys physically accommodating me virtually. but I live in North Yarmouth, Maine. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for your sitting in tonight and giving us a recap.
Sure, Sharice, Sharice, I'll be in touch. Let me know if there's anything else followed up that we need to talk about.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah. Everybody take care. Be safe.
Thanks.
Thanks. Sharice, stay up there.
Yes.
Consideration of annual payroll warrants and accounts payable warrants.
Yes, that's a policy that the board typically renews every year. There's been some slight word usage amendments, but other than that, the content is the same. It's one select person to sign off on payroll to be able to release that, and 3 or a majority, 3 signatures on an accounts payable warrant. Other than that, it's pretty much by statute.
Do we still have the one person going up there and signing the payroll?
For payroll.
Can we do that electronically like we did before?
I don't see why not.
So we can change that, and we can sign the payroll and the warrants.
Electronically?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Sam has typically, made a trip up in person.
Right, he took over for me from doing it. So just the policy allows the municipal officers acting on behalf of what do you want to do?
You could say either or.
Yeah.
And that way, if he wants to go up and sign, he can go up and sign. If not,
it says electronic.
Yeah, but it's what it's saying. You can also let one of the municipal officers go up and do it.
Yeah.
And that's why we've been getting it electronically lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Want to just leave it?
Just leave it.
Yeah, because I think we added that last year.
Do I have a motion to accept the policy?
move to accept the policy as written.
I have a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Okay.
Derek, have you used DocuSign and all that?
Not with the town, I use it
Okay.
daily.
Yeah.
I use it about 12 times today.
Figured you did.
All right, next on the agenda, discussion of change to grandfather medical cannabis establishment. All right. Your name, sir, again?
John Bowie.
Right. Okay, welcome back.
Thank you.
Tell me why you want to change things.
So a caregivership is just a single style entity. It has to file its own tax return. It has to have its own banking. It has zero regulation from the state. So the town doesn't have any resource, so to speak, for the state to step in. They don't come in annually and inspect. They don't do anything. We have had a few retail locations under that caregivership in the past, because at the time that's all we could do. And at the time you guys had this establishment step in, that was all they could do as well. Since then, the dispensary model has, it was always limited to like very few licenses, eight licenses in the entire state, and they've lifted the cap on that, so now more people can do it like that. So we've done that, and really the only advantage I have in doing so is accounting, tax reporting, banking, all of the infrastructure of the business, to be truthful. And
how do you do banking? I thought it's against federal law to
state insured credit unions.
Okay.
And nobody's taking new people, and you can't open, even I can't open new accounts. We have ours all in place, and that's not an issue. So for me, it's an infrastructure item. For the town, I mean, it gives you the resource that the state comes and inspects. You have to submit a local authorization form to the state every year. So that gives you some good power, I guess you could say, to make sure, fire items are taken care of, the security items are taken care of, because in the caregiver world, you don't even have to have camera systems or alarm systems or any of that stuff. Even if we did open as a caregivership, which we could, we'll still have all of that, because that's how we run all of our locations and any of our business. So honestly, it's a logistics thing for me, and that's why I brought it to the town.
All right. This is the skeptical part of me here.
Mm-hmm.
Who would come in front of the town and say, I want to be regulated by the state?
I understand. I do.
I'm sitting there going, there's got to be a loophole of some sort here.
No, I
Somebody
understand.
comes in front of me and says, I want to be more regulated by the state.
I deal with the state daily. I mean, they actually come to our facilities to train new hires. I have a very good relationship with the state. And for me, the risk of them stepping in and saying anything wrong about us, far as it's much easier. I want the infrastructure ease. I'm not worried about the state. I'm really not. We follow their horse and pony show every day.
But is there a loophole that's going to get you from medical marijuana to retail marijuana?
To
Under
recreational, you mean?
Yeah.
No. Nope, zero. Absolutely zero. And I believe the town's attorney has already spoke with my attorney in the town, and I actually thought he was going to be on this call tonight to explain all that. I don't know, maybe he set something up different with the code enforcement.
I think the board said they're all set.
Oh, great. So I understand the skepticism, I do, but it's just one more tax return. It's one more accounting. It's actually a pain. It's more so of a pain at our size. If it was the only thing we had going on, then absolutely, I'd never call anybody to come check us out. But we had a retail in Lewiston and a retail in Auburn that were both medical caregivers, and we've switched those over to the dispensary model as well, because now it all falls under one EIN number. Our payroll can handle it, reporting for, workman's comp and the unemployment insurance and all that is easy to be taken care of.
Do you have any rec facilities?
We do. We have 3.
Does it add some value to the business that it's a standardized model?
I would say no.
No?
No. I guess it depends on who's looking. If it was someone who didn't want the regulation, it would decrease the value. So I don't believe it does.
Okay.
I really don't. It does to me just for the logistics and accounting.
No, I'm thinking because of the uniqueness of the the other model, if that would make it have a greater value, and therefore, you know, I mean, who knows what you're going to do in the future? Is it a more saleable asset or something like that?
I guess it could be, yeah, because it could fall, because it's going to be under our business name, which can be, you know, sold, but that doesn't mean it has to be approved, because any change of principal has to be approved by both local and state. So if, you know, I was selling it to Benny Blanco from the Bronx, you guys have the choice to say, we're not authorizing this.
Okay.
I'm still not getting it. When you came to us the first time, still didn't get it, because I'm thinking once that business was sold, we were under the impression that...
Well, there's no business there for him to sell. There's no business there to sell.
Right.
Yeah, he has a caregivership that's non-transferable for nothing.
Right, but we figured once that business was gone, then that's it. Something else that was done, and so now you're back with another like strange thing in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? As far as trying to figure it out. So leaving it the same, because if we grandfather it by changing it, doesn't that open it up to other people coming into town?
No.
I'm watching now. It's just
that location. That's grandfathered. That one single spot.
I think I can speak for Alex on this one. We've looked into this very thoroughly. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, I can jump up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hang on a second. We're not done.
You didn't let me off the hook.
Not yet. So, do you own the business now? Or you bought this business?
Nope. There's nothing to buy. I mean, but we have this gentleman that's there now has a court hearing to be evicted, and that's all I'm waiting for.
I was going to ask because I still see that up there. I was wondering what the status was of that.
I mean, he doesn't even have power.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So there's nothing going on in there right now, or is there?
Not for me.
No, but is he operational right now?
I don't believe so, only because I know for a fact there's no power.
Okay.
Because I see there is a sign up there that does say retail for sale. There is still signs up there in the white part.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. I know that you had said you were going to go in after, and I'm thinking they're still in there every time you go by. So yeah.
So you're waiting for him to be evicted, and then you're going to go in. That's where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Alex?
All right, what do we got?
So you talked to the attorney. This is not a big deal?
No, so because really all this is saying is we've got these two existing non-conforming uses. They're legal non-conforming. We could work with their attorney, Phil could chat with her, and they could come up with specifically what that would say. But before we went that far, we definitely wanted to check with you guys. The Warren article would essentially just put something. The state, in order to allow the town, since we're not an opt-in town, we don't have an ordinance, we have to have a Warren article that allows them to operate. Because right now, they are operating as a non-conforming use, or they would be operating as a non-conforming use. But that didn't have a Warren article, approved by the town, allowing it to function. So by doing this, by drafting a Warren article saying, the non-conforming uses, there are actually two. There's this one, and then Highwire actually has the ability to sell medical as well further down the road, which I don't know if they do or not. But so there would be two, and they would be allowed to continue. And that's all that Warren article would essentially say. That's the only way the town could actually fill out the local authorization form that the state requires. And from what I've heard, this is a relatively new opinion from the state. Previously, they were just allowing towns that had arrangements like this to just, sign off on it, but they're no longer doing that without a Warren article.
So we need a special town meeting for this.
Not necessarily. It might be easier to do it as a special town meeting, but you could put it on for next year.
But how do we? I don't understand how we have another one though, with Highwire doing the medical retail like B&B did.
They were in before too.
So Highwire is a little different. They actually applied for a business license for medical marijuana prior to the state law changing. The code office at the time lost the business license and never approved it. But they cashed the $25 check like 3 or 4 months before. So that application got lost and was later found. After I started, we found it one day. And so it went to the Zoning Board of Appeals because I actually denied it under the town attorney's guidance. He said, well, you're not an opt-in town, so you probably shouldn't approve it. So just deny it and they'll go to ZBA and we'll see where it goes. So that's what happened. They went to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the ZBA actually overturned it. So they are allowed to do that, which makes sense. And I was all in favor of that because they did get it in before the date and the town lost it. So.
No, I get that.
And that was in 2018, I think, that happened.
I think so.
So they are allowed to sell medical only. So it would be two locations in town.
By having a warrant article, though, aren't we going to confuse people by having another thing on there and trying to explain that to people? Because I know when we had town voted no, on having the establishments, but now all of a sudden we're going to put it back in there. What if the town votes it down again? And not fully understanding what that request means.
I'm going to assume that you'd carry on the way you are. And so it's going to be interesting, and that's going to probably involve you and the town attorney I get her point. It's a good point to write something that's clear enough, if this were approved, that people can understand what they're doing and not be misunderstand it.
I don't understand it. So literally, I think sticking a warrant article out there is really going to confuse people. And I do think it's going to be probably voted down on this because it's saying they want to take away the grandfather. That's me.
Is there any way that by doing a warrant article, it could be construed by anyone in any way, shape, form, even if you squint your eyes, turn your head sideways, that we've now opted in?
No. We would have to have an ordinance to opt in, and that wouldn't be considered an ordinance. The ordinance has to have specific standards in it. So even if someone wanted to try it and say that was us opting in it, we wouldn't comply with the state's requirements, so the state wouldn't allow it.
I'm just trying to understand this warrant article. I mean, are you talking like a town meeting warrant?
Yep.
So we would have to have a special town meeting?
No.
Could be regular. It could go to next June if you wanted.
So, meanwhile, for the next year, he can't run his business the way he wants.
Yeah.
And it's
You'd have
more
to do it as a character.
That would not be fair to him.
But it's the paperwork. It's not, you can do everything you're doing now, it's just the paperwork part of it, correct?
Yeah, logistics, the
taxes
banking, the
and
insurance, the
EIN
taxes,
numbers
and the EINs, yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's a burden.
Well, I know that, but I'm going to walk up and I'm going to say request for warrant article that would authorize grandfathered medical cannabis retail stores to operate pursuant to a state dispensary. Me, I'm literally, before I came to the meeting, am looking up the difference as far as the dispensary and caregivers, and then there was one other one. There was three. People are not going to, and I don't mean to put more on you. You are really like challenging us lately, which is, yeah.
Keep everybody sharp.
Exactly. I personally don't want to opt in by no means. I'm really strong on that.
Well, it's definitely not an opt-in. You know that, right?
I know.
All right.
And I think my biggest thing is I want to make sure that nobody else, like Rolf just said, as far as like when he was trying to ask any way, shape, form, I-turn, whatever, the same way. I think we're going to confuse people with that warrant. And there's nothing else that you can do with the state to get that changed. No.
Not that I've gathered.
I mean, I just think it's unfair to him to wait a whole year. I think we have a special town meeting, have the warrant, whoever shows up gets to vote on it.
I was going to say that would be the expedient and business-like thing to do, but the problem with that is that, as you know, a special town meeting can sway one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You get about 10, 15 people that either say, oh, no, or oh, yes.
Are you willing to take that risk, or do you want to wait until the next annual town meeting, which is next June?
But that still is a risk.
I mean, I'm not at risk of going out of business.
Right.
And we're absolutely more than willing to work as hard as we have to.
When they talk about a special town meeting, it would it would be a oral town meeting in this room, probably.
Right here.
Right here, and so.
Well, I'm going to ask everybody before they come in, and then I won't let them in. No.
So with a special town meeting, I mean, if people who are supportive show up, you win. If they don't, you lose.
And
And
they
we'll
have
still- and we'll
residents of Raymond.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
you know, if you
And we'll
look at-
still, we'll just operate,
Right.
you know, in.
But
yeah,
I
if you
get
look
your
at-
whole business structure.
Yeah.
How many
where
people
you
are really
want-
going to show up to that?
Maybe
It's-
none.
Because
it's
it doesn't
crazy.
change. It changes his paperwork. It
But
doesn't-
people don't know that. That's just
If they
it.
misunderstand.
Well, let me ask you this: is there an opportunity for me to speak?
At town meeting, yes.
Then I'm good.
As long as you are consented to as an out-of-town resident.
And others, we approve you.
Oh, I live in Auburn.
Well, you're still out of town.
Okay,
You have to be
but
a
that's
Raymond,
that's
you have
what
to be a
you're
Raymond
saying.
resident to speak.
Oh, I can't speak on my behalf.
No.
Oh, okay, that's what I was asking.
No, but you can we ask permission of who's ever here.
Oh.
And usually it's
Okay,
granted.
okay,
But they may
I'm-
look at you and say, no, we're not gonna let that guy talk.
I'll probably dress nicer. I came from my office. So.
Wear your suit.
Well, I look like a flannel, maybe a flannel and some jeans.
Does anybody else have to go through this? Or are we just the most difficult?
No,
Okay.
no. I mean, places do. I mean, most towns have adopted an ordinance. If they're gonna, I mean, a lot of places. I think there's a lot of towns in this predicament. Oh, not predicament, but because there are so many people that opened up and were running and going before that December 13th, 2019, and those are all grandfathered.
Okay.
So if they're still running, they're doing well, and if not, they're out of business. But I mean, that was statewide, and there's actually, if you were to look at the statistics, there's very few towns in the entire state that have opted into any type of program.
You can tell because there's 20 in one town.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that opted in.
Yep, absolutely. No,
All
I
right,
mean, I think
so-
there's
Alex,
30
there's-
in Auburn or something.
So Alex, there's nothing that's saying that we're opting in any way, shape, or form. Okay.
We could actually put that in the warrant.
Yep.
This does, yeah.
That this is not an opt-in, you know.
Can you?
This isn't, this is no authorization of adult use recreational products.
But
It's
Sue
just
would know.
On a warrant, you can put explanatory.
Right.
On a ballot, you cannot. So that's the difference. And
Right.
you-
So we can explain
That's
a
correct.
reasoning why
Yep.
the paperwork, the
With the
EIN.
word
I mean, it
cannabis
literally gives the
in it.
town so much more control. And I know that sounds counterintuitive for what I would want, but as a business that we run, it's very in tune with what we like to
That's
do.
why we're kind of sitting up here going, why, what, yeah, what are we missing here? Yeah, no.
I think you should all come visit me in Auburn, and you can see our operation, because you'll realize
That's the
that
one in the
it's-
plaza there, where Aroma Joe's is, right?
No.
That's a retail location.
Oh, okay.
Our
get
our main
fingerprinted
office,
again soon.
administration office, and one
By
of
the
our
airport.
Oh, that's right, you're
cultivations
by the
is-
airport, I forgot.
is up. Yep.
Yep. Maybe I'll do that. I gotta get
All right.
fingerprinted
I
again.
My one thought, though, is with the word cannabis in it, I don't believe the folks that will turn out for that will fit in this room. That we may want either the gym or the cafeteria.
We just have it out on this field.
Yeah, baseball
We're
field.
on the baseball field, because it's not gonna be until August,
Yes,
all right? We're gonna try not to have a July meeting,
okay.
so the next meeting will be in August.
It's so unfair to make him wait another 2 months.
Well, yeah, but he can still
No,
he
I'm
can still
joking.
operate.
I'm joking. He was just busting everybody about waiting until
It's
June.
not that he can't do anything. It's-
See?
Well,
I
plus
even-
it's going to take him a little bit.
regardless of 2 months from now or what license I operate under or anything, I won't be open by then. We have,
It's gonna take a while.
with all of our, because I mean, we have,
Yeah, you got a whole lot of other stuff happening.
if you came into my
Not you,
office,
but
right? I mean, I
building.
have big screens with 300 and something cameras for all my locations and
Yeah.
all my security. I mean, it's like NASA.
Yeah.
So that I'll have that. We'll have that regardless, and that takes some time.
Yep.
And there's a whole new build out of retail counter space and flooring and improvements and things like that. So
So we'll see you in August,
okay,
okay?
great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, bye now. Nathan, come on up.
Good evening. I'm just here to ask to reconsider the 1% add-on to our ICMA retirement. We're at 6% right now. And during the budget process, it was my understanding that it had been moved to 7, and somewhere in the process it got removed. And I'd like to see if we could reconsider that.
How did you find out about it getting removed?
Yeah, Kathy told me about it, and she told my crew.
Kathy told your crew?
Kathy Goslin, yeah. That's what I didn't realize had been removed, and she met them in the parking lot at the town office. They were working up there, and then she told me before I saw the crew. My guys are pretty passionate with that. They're looking forward to that add-on to the retirement, as you can imagine.
Don, who authorized Kathy to tell Nathan's crew?
Well, she's the HR director, and they asked to see somebody to explain what the status of the retirement match was. As I understand it, I was on medical leave, so they wanted to talk to someone about that area of their employment, correct?
I wasn't there. I got
Well, Kathy's online. I mean, I wasn't in the office at the time, but I believe there was an inquiry, or maybe not. Kathy?
Hi. Scott Pickovic asked me in person, what was the match going to this year? Was it going to 7 or 8%? He said he had gotten different answers and he wanted to know. So I told him it was going to 6%. It was staying at 6% because it hadn't been approved to go any higher than that.
Well, there's 3 of us right here that remember it going to 7%. So how did that get mixed up?
Well, I think there is a misunderstanding here, and I do know that the Board of Selectmen wanted to do this, and
we authorized it.
You called me, Don, and said that I had a talk with Scott and told him that it was going to be up to 7.
No, I did not tell him that. I told him that it was consideration.
You know what? I want to go into executive session. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA, what is it?
405.
405-6A.
405-6A.
Second.
All in favor?
Motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Okay.
Quit claim deed.
On to quick claim deeds.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3. Do you know what quit claim deeds are? Because I didn't know what they are. Okay.
Yeah, they release the liens on the property. Okay.
All right, so we have one on Robert Martin and Diana Martin. So I'm make a motion to accept the quit claim deed on Robert Martin, Diana Martin, map 49, lot 001A, book 38553, page 29, book 39673, page 101.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, motion to approve the quitclaim deed on Richard E. Strout, map 019, lot 039, book 26335, page 174, book 28887, page 49, book 31729, page 252, book 34141, page 84, book 27261, page 238, book 29838, page 199, book 32517, page 162, book 27989, page 170, book 30940, page 96, book 33358, page 219.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, and one more is, oh, Alex is in here. I'm happy to see this one. I am so happy to see this one. A motion to approve quitclaim deed on Jarrett Marston. He's done a lot of work on map 019, lot 039, book 35064, page 311, book 38553, page 28, book 35913, page 97, book 39673, page 166, book 37079, page 275.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Great, that is good.
Yeah,
And
that is,
those last 2 were both for the same parcel. It's just that it had belonged to his father, I believe
Right.
it was first.
His father.
and then-
Yeah.
he did a lot of work. That is just awesome.
Yeah.
He was so pleased when he came in. He was grinning from ear to ear.
I bet.
Cool.
I bet. Oh my God, I'm so happy for that.
All right, appointments. Sue?
If you still want the same cast of characters in the town office, that's the first hunk of the annual appointments.
We can take them as a block.
Okay, do we go through? Animal Control Officer, Jessica Jackson. Code Enforcement, Alex C. Royce. I always say his name wrong. Constable, Nathan White. Contract Assessor, Kurt LaBelle. Emergency Management Director, Bruce Tupper. Fire Chief, Bruce Tupper. Forest Warden, Bruce Tupper. Freedom of Information Officer, Sue Look. General Assistant Administrator, Jenny Silverblade. Harbor Master, Don Willard. Health Officer, Kathy Goslin. At Maine Waste to Energy, Don Willard. Road Commissioner, Nathan White. Tax Collector, Sue Carr. Town Clerk, Sue Look. Treasurer, Sharice Keach. A motion to appoint these municipal officers, but I want someone to second it because I have a comment on it.
Second.
Okay, so right now, we had an HR person before. Kathy, I think, is wearing 3 hats right now.
Yes.
Health officer.
HR and finance assistant.
Okay. Is there too much there? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. We can look into that.
Kathy is still on the call.
Teresa, I don't think so.
Okay. You've got all 3?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so it's been a motion and.
We had a motion. All in favor? Derek?
Sorry.
No. Unanimous.
All right. Motion of appointment by municipal officers. Beautification Committee. Oh, they're actually their names. Do we?
Do we actually need to do this, or it's a volunteer organization?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask.
Not strictly for the beautification committee.
Okay, but the Board of Assessment Review.
You have in the past, so I include them. I did remove like the Conservation Commission, who aren't really meeting, and Technology Committee, who aren't really meeting. But no, you don't have to. They don't make any decisions for the town.
Right.
The Board of Assessment Review, Planning Board, and ZBA in particular,
Yeah.
you do.
Okay.
Veterans I like putting on here just because David's all by himself and he's the committee, but he's still going.
All right, so a motion to approve the appointment by municipal officers. I'm going to do Board of Assessment Review is Brenda Tubbs. Planning Board is Greg Foster, is Robert O'Neill. Zoning Board of Appeals is Pete Lockwood and Frederick Miller. And the Veterans Memorial Park is David McIntyre.
So moved, seconded.
All in favor?
All in favor? Unanimous?
All right. Staff, board. All right, committee. Yeah, where's our committee one?
Next page.
Next one.
This one? One.
You don't sign,
Oh,
we don't sign.
we don't sign that one. That's why I didn't see it.
So we'll just keep the same ones?
I don't see Derek on there, and I don't see Joe on there.
That's correct, and you won't see Joe on there.
So what these are is there used to be one for library, there used to be one for Tasseltop, and do we want one for rec yet? No, leave it go yet?
He's doing pretty well.
He is
so.
doing really well,
I don't mind doing rec if there is one needed for it, but
and it's just you're just like a liaison, is
Okay.
what it is. I'm on the beautification committee.
if you want to add rec, I'll do it. If you want to leave it,
Let-
I don't need anything
Right.
to do, but it's up to you.
Let's talk to Joe. What do you think? Because they don't really have a board yet, or
Yeah, we'll wait until we talk to Joe and see if he wants anyone yet.
Joe usually comes to the board.
Not this
doesn't
Joe.
Yeah, I know it's true.
All right, motion to we don't have to approve these, right?
No.
All right.
Okay, we'll keep them the same.
All right.
All right. Annual fee schedule.
Yeah, there was a confusing part of the building permit section that got corrected.
That was the 50 cents per foot for commercial?
Yes, it was, well, it was worded kind of funny.
Okay.
There was an increase for the personal campsite from 25 to 50. We added the motor vehicle accident billing fees for the policy that you approved at the last meeting.
Yeah.
I removed all the fees from the schedule that you really don't have any control over because they're set by statute. Like the voter, how much does it cost to get the voter lists, how much it costs to get a dog license, things like that.
Oh, I did see that off. Yeah.
There was a request to change the word bounce to returned and have checks/items. And I removed the tassel talk fees for the same reason. It's really part of the enterprise account. It isn't collected at the town office.
So I need a motion to accept the annual fee schedule.
So wait a minute, you pulled out the FOIs. That's picked up under statute?
Yes, that's in Title I.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Motion to approve the fee schedule for 2023, 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
Should wait to sign it after we.
All right. Any public comment?
Dum, 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 dum.
There are no hands raised on Zoom.
All right. Selectmen comment.
We didn't say it, but I just wanted to thank Lonnie for his years of service on the select board. He served, what, 2 terms or 3 terms?
I don't know.
But
On the select board? I thought it was more like 6.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I
So
think
he-
so,
yeah,
19.
Yeah.
He's longer than me.
You know, and between he and his wife, they did a lot on updating the personnel policies and things like that. So, big thanks to him for his time.
Yep.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Yep.
We sent him a text.
I actually talked to him last week, and, you know, he's doing all right. He's gonna play some golf. Maybe I'll give him some lessons.
That's so funny.
All right, any more selectmen comment? Derek, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Like I said, any questions, anything, feel free to ask. Town manager's report?
Well, I got back to work half-time last Thursday, and so I don't have a lengthy report tonight. I do want to thank the Board of Selectmen for their support during my leave of absence, medical leave of absence, and the town employees, and so I'm very appreciative of that, and I'm looking forward and anxious to get back going, and so for that part, I'm back for 2 weeks half-time and with my physical therapy, then full-time, hopefully. Confirmed dates for next meeting. I guess I heard that you don't want to have a July meeting, as has been the fashion in prior years, a summer holiday, if you will. So we're looking at August 8th as the next meeting.
And there's nothing that has to be done like at the end
And,
of
well, obviously, if we have
switching money
a,
over or whatever.
Yeah, but
if we have
there's
something,
nothing that can't wait until August 8th.
right, but if we have something that would come up, normally what I would do would be to call the chair, and we'd have to have a meeting, yeah. And that's, reminder of upcoming holiday schedule, Tuesday, July 4th, Independence Day. And that's it for me tonight.
Can we have a motion to go into executive session, consideration award of scholarship applications and student recognition pursuant to MRSA 14056F?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Move to come out of executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.